Hey, good morning. This morning is July 21st, 2016, and today we are going to talk about why people are afraid to fall in love, or what happens when we meet new love and we're ready to take that step, and why a lot of people are kind of hesitant to jump into it. So the first thing we're going to talk about, we're going to actually talk about 7 different reasons, but the first one we're going to talk about is the vulnerability of falling in love again. Anytime you fall in love for the first time and that does not work out, you feel very hurt. You feel like your heart is exposed, and you feel that, in some ways the world is coming to an end. I one time heard a quote that says, "You don't actually die from a broken heart, you just wish you would." Now I know that's a little melodramatic, but kind of get the point. But anytime that we meet somebody new and we start to fall in love, we feel vulnerable. We feel like we're kind of exposing those old wounds again, and that vulnerability is usually kind of what keeps people from, I guess, really taking that plunge into new love. Second thing we're going to talk about is the hurt feelings of falling in love again. Anytime that you fall in love and you meet somebody new again, a lot of times it brings up these feelings of the past rejection or the past hurt that you went through the first time. And so a lot of people are, even though they meet somebody really great and they're starting to really like them, a lot of times they are hesitant about going into it because of past hurt. And that's just something that we have to try to overcome. It takes time. Me personally, I'm not a very patient man. I want everything tomorrow, and so that's been something that's been a little bit difficult for me personally, is getting over that hurt and being ready to trust again. So the third thing we're going to talk about is the challenges of an old identity. If we admit it or not, when we're with somebody, we take on an identity. What I mean by that is our identity kind of changes. Sometimes it's for the better, sometimes it's for the worse. I've met some people that you can tell they have somebody new in their lives that's not a very good positive influence, and they kind of take on that person's identity. Hopefully it's a good identity when you meet somebody. Naturally we go through a change because there's new things in our life, and we're kind of taking on their things, and that kind of creates sometimes this new identity. So then the fourth thing we're going to talk about, the real joy that comes, or let's start again, sorry. With real joy comes real pain. A lot of times I think when we meet somebody new and we spend some time with them, we kind of find ourselves really enjoying their time with them, and we enjoy the new excitement about love and the new excitement about meeting somebody new. But then we also start realizing that there is a real risk that comes with that. And soon as we start opening up, we start realizing about the risk that we are taking, and we start to kind of fear that risk. And many times we will hold back from that new relationship because we're scared of these new feelings and these new pains that we went through once, that we could also go through again. One of the quotes I really like is, "The bigger the risk, the bigger the reward." And so, me personally, anytime I meet somebody, I try to push those things aside. I try to ignore that what if and that pain, and say, okay, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward. I apologize, the sun's in my face. So the fifth thing we're going to talk about is unequal love. And this is a funny little concept I don't think we kind of think about. I think in every relationship, there's usually one person that maybe falls harder than the other person. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. Me personally, I'm a very, how can I put it in a manly way? I'm a kind of emotional kind of guy. I'm not your typical manly kind of man. I am I'm a thinker. I want to reason. I want to put emotion into it. And often when we get into a relationship, there's usually one person that is usually a little stronger in their feelings and maybe showing their feelings. And sometimes when we're in a new relationship, that can kind of scare the other person. I know this from personal experience. I think in my last relationship, that's one of the things that really came up. The person said that I loved them more than they did, and I think that's one of the reasons that it kind of scared the person away. That I was so forthcoming with my feelings and emotions, and I'm not saying that's a bad or good thing, but it may be something that if you're new into a relationship, you want to kind of keep in check. It doesn't mean you can't have those feelings and have those emotions, but maybe just don't be so forthcoming with sharing them right off the bat. It's too soon. If you watched any of my videos before, I have this philosophy of pepper. If you have some soup and you want to change the flavor of that soup a little bit, you just add a little pepper. But what happens if you dump that whole jar of pepper into the soup? Well, of course, you ruin the soup and then it's no good. So this is something I have to kind of remind myself when I meet somebody and I start having these feelings. I want to make sure that I'm not pouring the whole jar of pepper into the soup and tainting it. So the sixth thing we're going to talk about is the connection with your family when you meet somebody. Me personally, with my family, for some reason I'm always kind of excited about introducing this new person to my family. Not that I necessarily want approval. Of course, I think we all want approval. We all want our friends and family to say, hey, this is a really great person, or hey, what the heck are you thinking? But me personally, my family is amazing. My family has always embraced those who have come into my life. But with that said, when we start spending time with that one person, our family connection kind of naturally I don't say withers a little bit, but definitely kind of changes. When I'm with somebody, a lot of times I don't see my family a whole lot. It's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a lot of my time is dedicated to that new person, that new relationship. And sometimes this actually scares people when they meet somebody new. They feel they're taking away from their family, and they actually start feeling guilty. I just want to encourage you, don't feel necessarily guilty about it. Bring the person into your family when the time is right. This is something that recently I've really thought about. My family really loved the last person I was with. They really embraced her, and I think she really embraced them, and it was a really great relationship. Nowadays, when I'm meeting somebody, I'm thinking, how soon is it to bring that person into your family life, and how is it too soon to expose them, and then what if it doesn't work out? Does it make you look like a fool? And so this is something personally that I'm currently dealing with, and I think everybody is going to deal with at one time. So just let me encourage you, if your family loves you as much as mine, I think they'll embrace it more than you realize. So don't let that be a hindrance of letting yourself fall in love. And the seventh thing we're going to talk about is love stirs up existential fears. What I mean by that is this fear of losing the person that you are now in love with. This has been something that has been a struggle also for me. I'm 40. I've never been married. I've definitely looked forward to getting married for a couple different reasons. One, I really hate dating. Dating sucks. I really hate dating. The other thing is, I look forward to sharing my life with somebody. I've spent a majority of my life working hard for things. I think I've told you guys before, I recently purchased a home. The house is kind of empty without somebody to share it with. My life is kind of empty without somebody to share those blessings that God has given me. And so, I've always wanted to, meet somebody special and build that life with. I've seen my family, everybody around me grow up and get married, have their own family, and I'm like, man, I really want that. But anytime I meet somebody, I start feeling these fears of losing that person, of wondering how long it's going to take. I kind of joke about it now, but the last woman I dated, I even told her, I'm like, oh, you're probably, you're probably gonna leave me in 8 months. And sure enough, after 8 months, it didn't work out. And I've always wanted to have a relationship that lasts more than 8 months. Yeah, you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, what's wrong with this guy? Yeah, I think we're always working on ourselves, and there's some things I can always do differently. But but anytime I meet somebody, I have this fear of losing them, and this is a hard thing to let go. But it's something that's really important to let go, because you don't want to drag that fear into a new relationship, because that person you just met might be the most amazing person. And if you start dragging that fear and dragging your feet and dragging that mud into your new relationship, it's only going to taint it, and it's probably going to push the person away. Even if you don't even realize it's pushing the person away, it's probably going to push the person away. And we just want to make sure that we try to let go of fears. One thing that I try to encourage myself, and I try to encourage other people to do, is don't think about the relationship so much. Just enjoy it. What I mean is, enjoy the time that you have with the person. Tomorrow's not promised for anybody, whether it be they break up with you, or it doesn't work out, or something worse happens. Tomorrow's not promised to any one of us. So enjoy the time that you have with the person. Every time you meet them, or every time you see them, almost act like it's the last time that you're going to be able to be with them or see them. And I guarantee you're going to enjoy your relationship a whole lot more. So let go of the fear and embrace this new relationship, embrace this new person. And anyways, that's it for today. Those are seven fears I think we all have when we meet somebody new. So I really appreciate you guys tuning in today's vlog. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my video. If you haven't liked this video yet, please do so. If you haven't liked my channel, I'd really appreciate if you guys do that. Look me up on Facebook. Anyways, thank you so much, guys. Have a blessed day.